Have you ever looked into the eyes of an animal and wondered what it was thinking? Perhaps you have a beloved dog or cat at home. You watch them as they go about their day and, well, a simple question forms in your mind. If you could speak to them just for a moment, what would you say? Would you ask them if they are happy? Would you ask about their dreams or what they see when they look out of the window? This desire to communicate, to bridge the gap between our world and theirs, is a deeply human one. It is a curiosity that has captivated us for centuries, driving us to seek a connection beyond a simple pat on the head or a gentle scratch behind the ears. This yearning is not just a whimsical fantasy, it is born from a profound respect for the other intelligent lives that share our planet. We see complex behaviors in the animal kingdom every day. We witness the intricate dance of a bee telling its hive where to find nectar. We hear the mournful song of a whale echoing through the vast empty ocean. We see the clever problem-solving of a chimpanzee using a tool to find food. These are not random, meaningless actions. They are expressions of thought, of need, and of a rich inner world that we are only just beginning to comprehend. The desire to talk to them is a desire to understand them on their own terms. Imagine the knowledge we could gain. What could a whale tell us about the mysteries of the deep ocean, a place we can only visit for short periods? What secrets of the forest could an elephant share, with its long memory and deep social bonds? The possibilities are truly staggering. We could learn about ecosystems from the creatures who know them most intimately. We could understand their needs better and become more effective guardians of the natural world. This is not just about satisfying our own curiosity, it is about fostering a deeper, more meaningful relationship with the planet and all its inhabitants. It is a quest for empathy on a global scale. So, the question remains a powerful one. It is a question that has moved from the realm of storybooks and into the world of science. Researchers and scientists around the globe are now armed with incredible new tools, all designed to listen in on these ancient conversations. They are no longer just observing from a distance. They are actively trying to decode the very languages of the animal world. The journey is long and filled with challenges, of course, but the prospect of one day having a true conversation, no matter how simple, with another species is a goal that continues to inspire and drive us forward into a new age of discovery. Long before we had computers and sophisticated recording devices, humans were still fascinated by animal communication. Our ancestors lived much closer to the natural world than we do today. Their very survival often depended on understanding the calls and behaviors of the animals around them. They knew that the sudden silence of birds could signal a predator lurking nearby. They understood that the bark of a deer was an alarm call that echoed through the forest. This was the earliest form of animal linguistics, a practical knowledge born from necessity and close observation over countless generations of living alongside these creatures. It was a language of survival, understood by instinct and experience. As human societies developed, this study became more formal, though still quite basic by our modern standards. Early naturalists and philosophers would spend countless hours simply watching. They would meticulously document the sounds and actions of different species. They noted the different chirps a bird might make, speculating that one might be for finding a mate and another for defending its territory. They observed the intricate social grooming of primates, realizing it was more than just cleaning, it was a way of reinforcing bonds and maintaining peace within the group. These pioneers had no way to analyze the sounds or track animals over long distances, but their patient work laid the essential groundwork for everything that was to come. One of the most famous areas of early research involved trying to teach human language to other animals. You have likely heard of these attempts, particularly with great apes like chimpanzees and gorillas. Researchers spent years trying to teach them sign language. Apes like Washoe the chimpanzee and Koko the gorilla learned hundreds of signs, and they seemed to be able to combine them in meaningful ways to express their wants and feelings. These studies were groundbreaking because they challenged the idea that humans were the only species capable of language. Of course, there was much debate about whether this was true language or simply very clever imitation for a reward. These early efforts, while remarkable, had their limits. They were often focused on trying to make animals speak our language rather than trying to learn theirs. The approach was human-centric. We were asking them to enter our world of communication, not the other way around. The technology of the time also restricted what was possible. Scientists could record sounds on tape, but analyzing the subtle variations in pitch, frequency, and rhythm was an incredibly slow and difficult process. They were capturing only a tiny fraction of the rich tapestry of sounds that make up the animal world's conversations, missing the deeper context and complexity hidden within. Everything began to change with the arrival of modern technology. The digital revolution gave scientists tools that their predecessors could only have dreamed of. Suddenly, we had the power to not just listen, but to analyze. We developed sensitive underwater microphones called hydrophones that could pick up the faintest sounds from across vast stretches of ocean. We created tiny, lightweight biologging devices that could be attached to animals without disturbing them. These devices can record not only sound but also an animal's location, its depth in the water, and even its heart rate. This gives us a complete picture of what the animal was doing when it made a particular sound. The real game changer, however, has been the introduction of artificial intelligence, or AI. The sheer amount of data that we can now collect is immense. A single project might record thousands of hours of animal sounds. It would be impossible for a human to listen to all of this and find meaningful patterns, but this is exactly what AI is built for. Machine learning algorithms can sift through these enormous data sets, looking for repetitions, sequences, and structures. They can identify the individual building blocks of an animal's communication system, much like identifying the letters of an alphabet or the words in a sentence. Think of it like this. Imagine trying to understand a foreign language you have never heard before with no dictionary and no teacher. You would have to listen for hours and hours just trying to figure out where one word ends and another begins. This is the challenge scientists face. AI helps them to do this automatically. It can group similar sounds together, identifying what might be a specific type of call. For example, it might find that a certain pattern of clicks is always used when a mother dolphin is near her calf, suggesting it is a call for attention or reassurance. This allows researchers to move beyond simple observation and start building a real dictionary of animal sounds. This technological leap is allowing us to ask much more sophisticated questions. We are no longer just asking what sound an animal is making. We are now asking why and when. We can correlate sounds with specific behaviors, with the time of day, with the presence of other animals, and with environmental conditions. Is a particular whale song used only during mating season? Do elephants have a specific rumble to warn of a particular type of danger? Artificial intelligence is the key that is unlocking these complex relationships, helping us to see the intricate grammar and syntax of languages that have been spoken on this planet for millions of years before our own. One of the most ambitious projects using this new technology is focused on one of the planet's largest and most intelligent creatures, the sperm whale. The project is called SETI, which stands for the Cetacean Translation Initiative. Its goal is nothing short of revolutionary. It aims to use advanced machine learning and data science to understand and perhaps one day translate the communication of sperm whales. These magnificent animals live in complex social groups and communicate using series of clicking sounds which are known as codas. For a long time we have known they are communicating, but the meaning of these clicks has remained a profound mystery. The team behind Project SETI is using an array of cutting-edge technology to listen in on these ocean conversations. They have deployed multiple, gentle, non-invasive listening stations in the waters off the coast of Dominica, a place where sperm whales gather year-round. These stations are equipped with highly sensitive hydrophones that record the whale's clicks 24 hours a day. Drones with cameras fly overhead to record the whale's behavior on the surface, while gentle robotic fish equipped with cameras and microphones swim alongside the pods, capturing video and audio from the whale's own perspective. This provides an unprecedented amount of contextual data to accompany the sounds. The core of the project relies on the power of artificial intelligence. The vast library of recorded clicks is fed into powerful machine learning models. These algorithms are designed to do what the human ear cannot. They analyze the rhythm, tempo, and structure of the codas, searching for patterns. The AI is learning to distinguish between the clicks of individual whales, much like we can distinguish between different human voices. It is also identifying recurring sequences of clicks, which scientists believe might function like words or phrases. The hope is that by analyzing which coders are used in which social situations, the AI can begin to assign meaning to these patterns. Project Sitai is a long-term endeavor, and the challenges are immense. The ocean is a noisy place, and the whale's language is likely to be incredibly complex, shaped by a world and a sensory experience so different from our own. However, the potential is breathtaking. The project aims to build what could be described as a Google Translate for whales. By understanding their coders, we might learn about their family structures, their cultural traditions passed down through generations, and how they perceive the world. It is a monumental effort to bridge one of the greatest communication divides on our planet, moving us one giant leap closer to understanding the minds of these gentle giants. Dolphins, with their playful nature and, obvious intelligence, have long been candidates for interspecies communication. They communicate using a complex array of sounds, including these high-pitched whistles, clicks, and burst pulses. Scientists have known for decades that each dolphin has a so-called signature whistle, a unique sound that acts like a name, allowing them to identify each other in the water. But, honestly, understanding the rest of their conversations has been a much harder task. Their sounds are often produced at frequencies far too high for the human ear to hear, and the patterns are incredibly rapid and complex, sounding to us like, well, just a jumble of squeaks and squawks. This is where technology has been absolutely essential. Researchers now use sophisticated underwater audio equipment to record the full spectrum of dolphin sounds. They then use computer software to create visual representations of these sounds called spectrograms. A spectrogram is a graph that shows the frequency of a sound over time, turning an audible squeak into a visible picture. This allows scientists to see the intricate details of the whistles and clicks, revealing patterns that would be impossible to hear otherwise. They can see the precise shape of a signature whistle or how a series of clicks changes when a dolphin is hunting for fish using echolocation. Artificial intelligence is now taking this analysis to the next level. A project in Florida, for instance, is using machine learning to create a comprehensive catalog of dolphin sounds. The AI algorithm listens to thousands of hours of recordings from a specific pod of wild dolphins. It learns to identify the signature whistles of each individual, and then begins to look for patterns in their other calls. For example, it might discover that a certain type of burst pulse sound is almost always followed by the group diving together. This suggests the sound might be a command or a proposal, something like, "Let's all dive now." One of the most fascinating discoveries is that dolphins seem to engage in conversational turn-taking much like humans do. By using arrays of hydrophones that can pinpoint which dolphin is making which sound, researchers have observed two dolphins exchanging whistles and clicks back and forth, rarely interrupting each other. It looks and sounds just like a dialogue. While we do not yet know the content of these conversations, the structure itself is a remarkable finding. It suggests a level of communicative discipline and social intelligence that is, well, startlingly familiar. Technology is helping us prove that they are not just making noise, they are truly talking to each other. Elephants are creatures of profound social and emotional depth. They live in tightly knit family groups led by a matriarch, and they display behaviors like mourning their dead and working together to solve problems. It stands to reason that they would have a sophisticated communication system to manage these complex social lives. For a long time, however, the full extent of their conversations remained hidden from us. We could hear their loud trumpets of alarm or excitement, but scientists suspected there was much more going on, and well, they were right. A huge part of elephant communication happens at a pitch so low that it is below the range of human hearing. These deep, powerful sounds are called infrasound. They are rumbles that travel for enormous distances, not just through the air, but also through the ground. This allows elephant families to stay in contact with each other even when they are kilometers apart. They can coordinate group movements, warn each other of threats like lions or human poachers, and find mates from distant herds. To us, the savanna might seem quiet, but for an elephant it is alive with a constant stream of low-frequency messages, a hidden social network vibrating through the very earth beneath their feet. It is a language we were completely deaf to until technology gave us new ears. To eavesdrop on these secret conversations, researchers use special acoustic sensors that can detect infrasound. They place these sensors in strategic locations across national parks and conservation areas. But simply recording the rumbles is only the first step. The next challenge is figuring out what they mean. This is where a project called Elephant Voices has made incredible progress. By combining decades of detailed behavioral observation with acoustic analysis, they have started to build a dictionary of elephant calls. They have identified specific rumbles that are used by mothers to soothe their calves, and others that are used by males to signal their readiness to mate. Artificial intelligence is now accelerating this work dramatically. Machine learning algorithms can analyze thousands of hours of infrasound recordings and automatically classify the different types of rumbles. They can link these rumbles to data from GPS collars worn by the elephants, showing exactly where the elephants were and what they were doing when a call was made. This has led to remarkable insights. For instance, researchers have discovered that elephants seem to have a specific alarm call for bees and a different one for humans. The ability to communicate about specific types of threats demonstrates a level of cognitive complexity that we are only just beginning to appreciate, all thanks to technology that lets us listen to their deepest voices. Communication is about so much more than just sounds. All animals, including humans, use body language to convey a wealth of information. A dog wagging its tail, a cat arching its back, a bird puffing up its feathers, these are all clear signals with specific meanings. For a long time, studying this silent language relied on patient human observation, with researchers spending countless hours watching animals and taking notes. This method yielded incredible insights, but was also slow and limited by what a single person could track and remember. It was difficult to spot subtle patterns or track the interactions of many individuals at once. Today, technology is revolutionizing the study of animal body language. High-resolution video cameras can record animal behavior in stunning detail day and night. But more importantly, computer vision, a type of artificial intelligence, can now analyze this video footage automatically. An AI can be trained to recognize individual animals in a group, perhaps by the unique stripe patterns on a zebra or the facial features of a primate. It can then track the movements of every single individual simultaneously, logging their posture, their gestures, and their proximity to others second by second. This generates a massive data set of social interactions. This technology allows us to see the intricate dance of social life in a way we never could before. For example, by analyzing video of a monkey troop, an AI can map out the entire social network. It can identify who interacts with whom, who is dominant, and who is an outcast. It can detect the subtle gestures, a flick of an ear, a slight turn of the head, that maintain this social order. It might discover that a specific subtle facial expression is always used by a dominant monkey right before a lower-ranking one moves away, revealing a signal of peaceful assertion that a human observer might have missed completely. One fun fact about body language comes from the world of bees. The famous waggle dance of the honeybee is a perfect example of communication through movement. When a scout bee finds a good source of nectar, it returns to the hive and performs a special dance. The angle of the dance in relation to the sun tells the other bees the direction of the flowers, and the duration of the waggle part of the dance tells them how far away it is. It is a wonderfully precise and symbolic language of movement. With modern computer vision, we can now analyze these dances with incredible accuracy, decoding their messages to create detailed maps of where the bees are foraging, all from watching this silent, intricate performance. While much of the focus has been on charismatic animals like whales, dolphins, and elephants, they represent just a tiny fraction of the conversations happening across the planet. Every corner of the natural world is filled with communication. Think of the complex chemical signals used by ants to mark trails and organize their colonies. Consider the flashes of light used by fireflies to find mates in the dark of night, a dialogue written in bioluminescence. Even creatures we might overlook, like prairie dogs, have been found to have surprisingly sophisticated alarm calls that can describe the type, size, and even the color of a potential predator. The challenge is that these languages are often profoundly alien to us. They use senses we do not possess or operate on scales of time and space that are difficult for us to comprehend. An ant's world is one of scent, a bat's world is one of sound echoes, and a fish's world may be one of electric fields. To understand them, we need to build technologies that can perceive the world as they do. This means developing new kinds of sensors, artificial noses that can detect subtle chemical trails, or detectors that can map the faint electrical pulses generated by fish in murky water. We must step outside our own sensory bubble. This is where the combination of novel sensors and artificial intelligence becomes so powerful. Imagine deploying a network of chemical sensors in a forest floor and using an AI to analyze the data. The AI could learn to identify the specific chemical signal an ant colony releases when it is under attack, or the unique scent a plant releases to attract pollinators. Similarly, by analyzing the light patterns of fireflies, an AI could decode their flashing conversations, revealing how they choose partners or compete with rivals. We are essentially building technological translators for languages that do not use sound or sight as we know them. The potential for discovery is almost limitless. There are millions of species on Earth, and it is likely that every single one has its own unique way of communicating. We have only just begun to listen. What might the corals on a reef be saying to each other through chemical releases as the water warms? What information is encoded in the vibrations that a spider feels through its web? By expanding our technological toolkit, we can begin to tune into this vast planetary chorus. Each new species we learn to understand will give us another unique perspective on life, enriching our knowledge of the world and our place within it. As we stand here on the 10th of August 2025, we are poised on the brink of a truly remarkable era. The work being done today is laying the foundation for a future where meaningful two-way communication with other species may move from the realm of science fiction into reality. It is a future that is both exciting and filled with profound ethical responsibilities. Imagine a world where we can ask a pod of whales to avoid a busy shipping lane, or where a conservationist can understand an elephant's specific warning about a poacher's trap. This technology could transform our ability to protect and coexist with the natural world. The ultimate goal for many of these projects is not just to listen, but to speak back. After an AI has learned the language of a particular species, be it the codas of a sperm whale or the rumbles of an elephant, the next logical step is to try to generate our own sounds based on that language's rules. Scientists could use a computer to generate a novel coda and play it back to the whales, observing their reaction. Does it cause them to gather together? Does it make them curious? This interactive approach would be the ultimate test of our understanding. It would be our first tentative word in their language. Of course, this raises enormous questions that we must consider carefully. If we do learn to talk to animals, what should we say? We would have a responsibility to use this ability wisely and respectfully. The goal should not be to control or command them, but rather to understand and to help. It would require a great deal of humility, recognizing that their perception of the world is fundamentally different from ours. A conversation with another species would be less about exchanging facts and more about sharing an experience of the world, fostering a deeper sense of empathy and connection between our species and theirs. The journey ahead is long and there will be many challenges, but the progress we are making is undeniable. Technology has given us a key, and we are slowly beginning to turn it in the lock. What lies behind the door is a world of sound and meaning that has been hidden from us for all of human history. The possibility of having a conversation with another intelligent mind from our own planet is one of the most exciting prospects in all of science. It would forever change our view of ourselves and our place in the web of life, reminding us that we are not the only voice, but rather one part of a magnificent global chorus.